Hello everybody, my name is XD and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral's Dreadnoughts. So, we are doing today battle that, as far as I know, never actually took place. The battle between the German battlecruiser Goeben, the SMS Blucher, which was a light German light cruiser, and the Lord Nelson Class British pre-dreadnought battleships. So, let's get started. You may also notice some peculiar facial movements like I've tried turning face tracking on for this particular software for a change. It's less taxi on my system, so I might be able to keep it on, but you know, like and things. So anyway, the Lord Nelson class were around about 18,000, well, between 18,700, no, between 17,000 tons and 18,800, depending on the modifications that they had, or depending on the source. I can't decide which modification / which source actually occurs. I did attempt to record this episode just before, and then all sound decided to die. So I'm going to recreate what I did. I can't get the original armament of this ship actually on the ship. It is a game. While they're trying to be historically accurate, sometimes people manage to do things that they may not necessarily can be replicated in the game. For instance, the Lord Nelsons had broadside of 5 9-inch guns. However, that's not possible in game. She was originally planned to have 6-inch guns, but they're upgraded to 9-inch guns. So, that's what I've had to do to get the weight down. So we still have more weight to add, though. So don't worry. I went with Lyddite 2 because I don't have any historical reference for what her armor? No, ammunition. What am I talking about? Her propellant. I don't have any historical reference for what her propellant would be. Therefore, I just... well, I've had to make do. So... I've already done something wrong because we're overweight. This ship is particularly hard to get its weight balance right. 12-inch. Secondary is pretty much 2 inches, although she had significantly more than 2 inches of armor. It's the game, so I have to try and find some way to balance this. Citadel 1. I've just played some of this battle because it didn't record. Well, it didn't record properly because there was no sound, so I can't exactly remember what I did. But I definitely had conning tower was up. The turrets are alright. Turret tops down. I'm close. I had it balanced exactly on 500 tons, but again, not 100% sure how I did that. I also added casemates as well, so I'm not sure how I got away with doing that either. But I did. So need to bring this gun forward. There we go. Definitely gone up to maximum, haven't I? 18.5, that's right. Did I do that? I may have gone with many bulkheads. That's maybe what I had to do. Secondary guns, we can get 2 inches on the aft. And I'll put the rest into armour because she did have waterline 12 inches of armour. Okay, maybe the game doesn't want me to have 12 inches of armour. Ah well, 18,500 tons will have to do. So, we are going up against a, well, what is a World War I style battlecruiser. Obviously the Blucher was No, the Blucher, the Goeben, was significant. I didn't rename the ships. Rebuild ship. It's HMS Lord Nelson, damn it. Oh. Although, well, calling it war spy's hardly a crime now, is it? So, the Lord Nelsons were actually commissioned after HMS Dreadnought herself. These were put into service in 1907, I believe. The Dreadnought was 1906. Enemy to the north, so they're behind us. Cheeky beggars. Well, they are German, after all. That was a bad joke. Please do not scold me in the comments. I doubt anybody would, but, yeah, you know. I'm British, I'm allowed to make jokes about the Germans and the French. Same as they're allowed to make jokes about us. We have 1,000 years of history, damn it. We're allowed to pick on each other. That's how you know you love us. Anyway, there was 2 ships in the Lord Nelson. There were 2 ships in the Lord Nelson class, the HMS Lord Nelson herself and the HMS Agamemnon. Their careers were average, I suppose, for a ship that served in World War One. They did take part in the campaigns along the... I was going to call it the Suez Canal, but it isn't the Suez Canal. It is... You know, I hate how I go to talk about something and then I immediately forget all my information. She took part in the Gallipoli campaigns and the battles towards the Dardanelles because she kept Blucher, Goeben and the other light cruiser pinned in the Dardanelles. These 2 ships had actually been escaping north towards Germany, found themselves cut off. They were going up the... I keep wanting to say the Suez Canal. I think it is actually the Suez Canal this time. But they were basically given to the Ottomans as a quote-unquote reward and quote-unquote evidence of friendship. But reality is they couldn't make it to Germany, so they stuck in the Ottoman Empire instead. HMS Lord Nelson and HMS Agamemnon were primarily charged with keeping them in check. You know, if you replace these with 11-inch guns and have one there, and then these 2, that would be her. Anyway, let's look at the battle for the moment. Obviously, I've had to put it... She was originally designed with 6-inch guns and then redesigned with 9-inch guns. So I've stuck the 6-inch gun there because I can't fit a 9-inch gun on this hull. Even if I ignore all of these other secondaries, I can't stick another 9-inch on there. It just doesn't work. A game is a game. You can't expect everything to be 100% accurate. Why would you? Are these 2 different classes? Of course they are. It's a heavy cruiser and a light... But it's a battle cruiser and a light cruiser. I'm just haven't woken up today. It's 11 o'clock and I haven't woken up. Although, in all fairness to the game, this is pretty close to what the light cruiser looked like. It was a standard, what you'd expect for early World War One light cruiser. Covered in small caliber guns, minimal armour. Jansen, why are you targeting the light cruiser when you could be targeting something that actually matters? You know what? Don't split off from the division. Come hard about. Hansen, you keep targeting the battlecruiser, sorry. Lord Nelson continued to target the light cruiser because, you know, torpedoes are a thing. Oh, Let's have a stretch. Here we go. Yay, we have sound this time. Although I need to probably turn the sound down a little bit because this, you know, it's going to be one of those days. It is just going to be one of those days. Not recording it a third time. I don't have the time. Third time, don't have the time. Yes, that does make sense. That is English. Leave me alone. Should say leave myself alone. It's me that always chastises me. These look lovely, and they missed, but so what? That was pretty close. I'm fairly happy with that. Why? Ah, right, you have basically no damage. That is fine. These will be the 9 inches. One of the problems with ships like this is they didn't exactly have the most advanced rangefinders in the world. The rangefinders was pretty much the Mark 1 eyeball and a telescope up here, shouting orders down. They did occasionally have the more standard, I believe it was stereoscopic scopes, rangefinders, sorry, where they had, well, you see it on some World War II battleships, they had basically a long pole, 2 lenses in either side. They had to adjust dials to get the 2 images to overlap with each other. So they did it on a diagonal plane rather than a horizontal one, to bring the 2 images into a line to get the range, then feed it back. But even then, it wasn't the most advanced version of the rangefinders. So the different, obviously, 12-inch guns versus a 9.1-inch gun explosion. Not at battle range. Looking through a telescope, there's not much difference in it. To be brutally honest, looking through a telescope, not much difference. So they did have. That's one reason why, going forward, with especially with Dreadnought and going forward, they would have all guns of the same caliber. They would have primary guns of the same caliber and then a distinctive secondary guns. Obviously the roles of the secondary guns also changed, so in the times of HMS Dreadnought and pre-dreadnoughts, there was a significant threat from things like motor torpedo boats, especially with the French. The French went a little bit crazy. They to the point where they stopped building certain battleships and cruisers in exchange for torpedo boats. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why with pre-dreadnoughts you see things like 24 3-pounders, or, you know, 20 primary and secondary and tertiary quaternary batteries of smaller guns. Well, tertiary and quaternary battery of many, many smaller guns, basically designed to put holes in torpedo boats. That being said, though, this and obviously warfare changed. People started going more with larger ships such as destroyers, and while destroyers are primarily unarmoured, you still could use something a bit longer range. Obviously torpedoes got longer range, but eventually you got things like radar coming in, so battle range is extended, so you couldn't just use the Mark 1 eyeball anymore. So you needed to have big guns to engage the big ships and a smaller but more substantial secondary battery to engage the more advanced smaller ships. So that's what happened. It's weird how I take a drink and it looks like I'm doing a backflip. Oh dear. Oh, this is funny. Yeah, Mum, bring yourself about a bit. 20 degrees to support. So, the Stettin, very German name. No armour, which is pretty much expected for the game. Maximum bulkheads, which is lovely to see. 3-inch guns, torpedo tubes with a range of 4 kilometers. That's going to be slightly problematic. I have a range of 5.1, so meh. Star. And the Star, that doesn't sound like a very German name, now does it? I'm not exactly complaining, but I mean, you know. Alright, the Germans can't call a ship a Star, but it doesn't sound... I mean, Goeben sounds very German, or Tirpitz, or even Stettin, or Breslau. Sounds very German. Star just doesn't. The SMS Star. What's the accuracy? 1.4%. Oh, so we can see it now. So, oh, minimum bulkheads. That's a no-no. Although we're, you know, battle cruisers and their bulkheads. Yeah. 7.5 inches of armour, so this ship is significantly less armoured than the actual SMS Goeben was. And she's slower. You know, in this game, this game in particular, I would rather sacrifice guns. Absolutely sacrifice guns for bulkheads. Because if you get a hole in one of these sections, it's just going to spread. You're throwing away your ship. Even with something like a torpedo boat in the early game, you need to have bulkheads, otherwise there's no point. Simply no point in building them, because as soon as you get hit, you're gonna die. That didn't sound like proper English, but I'm sure you understand what I meant. Good, Nelson, could you please become more accurate? Right, you've been targeting this ship all along, so why are you only on 1% accuracy? Did you just complete a turn or something? Okay, what's its current speed? Current speed, please. 21 point. Yes, I don't think this is going to go so well, to be honest. Ah, well, you are up to 3.6% accuracy, so maybe I'm being a bit... I'm possibly being a bit too hard on you. There's no possibly about it. I am being too hard on you. It's a lovely looking ship, though. I mean, just look at that. Look at these casemates. There's one thing that I could say about engineering in those days, it was they did come up with some really lovely things. And this particular game is very good at showing off how lovely the ships are. Oof, fire. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That says you shoot so I can't see, which is, you know, a thing. Oh, that reminds me, they did do a recent update with the ship. If you can see, there's no case mount in there, but it's been blocked off. Yay! So we don't have to question anymore if why, if there's no case mount, will the shell just go through and you know, go through the hole? No longer, no longer. Oh dear. You still only on 1% accuracy. Why did you change target for, you numpty? No, you didn't. Ah. It's alright, you're forgiven, it was my mistake, nothing to forgive, I apologise. Anson, keep wailing away. Keep doing your thing, as the kids say these days. It's a hole. Or did it just look like a hole because it didn't load in? No, that is the case, mate. It just didn't load in from my screen for a second. It's not a hole. It's not a mole. It does not live in a hole. Oh dear. Still, 4% accuracy. This is 4.2% accuracy and 5% accuracy on the 9-inch guns, which is, well, the hour marker, the hour generation ahead of the primary armament, but still, I'm surprised. At this sort of range, you would expect... What is the range? 7.7 kilometers, so let's take it 7.5. 2% versus 2.3. Oh, okay then, so you are slightly more accurate at this kind of range. Interesting. And that a bit strange, given that, say, that this gun doesn't have the same range. Still, unfortunately, the battlecruiser is starting now to get hits. Obviously, partial penetrations. There's definitely going to be some spoiling in there. And for those who don't know what spoiling is, that's when you hit a piece of metal or you hit a piece of armour and splinters of armour come off the other side. So yeah, you're covered in splinters. Happens to tank crews when their tank get hit. If they get non-penetration, sometimes things like the paint or actual metal will split off from the armour and shower the crew. Sometimes that can result in just tiny specks of metal all over the face, and other times it can result in impalement or serious injury. It really depends. Situational, etc, etc, etc. Ooh, main gun partial penetration. Would you stop being so damn accurate? Well, if you're any closer, actually, I would... I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this fight. I'm unsure, is what I should say. I shouldn't say I'm not able to finish the fight. I should say I'm unsure whether I'm going to be able to. I'm just looking at the ammunition count. Because, well, you know, 1,000 rounds. This is 340 and 350 on the other ships, so... And this cruiser is still there, still being a pain. And obviously, since I can only do 18.5 knots versus their 21.9 duty damage, or maybe even potentially faster, they can completely dictate the range of this engagement. So if I can't close the range, see, partial penetration with a 9-inch hit at this kind of range, their belt armor, let's just call it double, let's say it's 12 inches, or at 7,000 yards, or range of 7,000, can penetrate 10 inches, can penetrate 14 inches, so unless we get hits with the main guns, it's going to be problematic. Still, my ship should have a decent acceleration, if nothing else. To be honest, since this thing has maximum bulk rates, I could see myself maybe not giving it this many guns. But I could definitely see myself designing something similar to this, especially with torpedo tubes. Because when you get into range, torpedoes can make all the difference in the early game. In the later game, not so much. In the later game, I've seen battleships 8, 10, 15 torpedoes. And yes, they've been heavily damaged, but they've not been dead. Whereas early game, 1 or 2 torpedoes can and has completely turned the battle around. It's just the sheer amount. If they have double hulls or triple hulls, that obviously gives them a bonus to torpedo resistance and floatability. If they then have maximum auxiliary engine, that's water pumping. Torpedo defense itself, I think it's 40 or 50% torpedo damage reduction. And the compartments, obviously, the stronger the ship, the more health the compartment has, or flooding it can take, the more damage it can take. So torpedoes are a diminishing return, which is unfortunate, really, because you know, torpedoes are still on modern warships, not just for anti-submarine, but even for considered anti-surface as well. So it is a bit unfortunate. I mean, you did lose quite a few ships in World War II due to torpedoes. Not just merchantmen, but actual warships were lost to torpedoes as well. So battleships and all. So it's just one of those things. It is a game, and you do have to sort of accept that it's not going to be 100%. And why would it really? Why would it? Still, we are slowly but surely whittling this thing down. But as I say, I'm concerned about ammunition. I mean, it was 400 when we checked, and now it's 300. I might actually put you on safe, you on aggressive, and let's... You're the head of the formation, so why can you not put your speed up? What? You are the head of the formation. You should be able to increase speed. Have they made a change that I've in the changelog that I've not realised? Seriously, you can do more than 14 knots. Right, I'm gonna have to split. May have to split these ships. Tight. Head. Head. Normal. No. That's odd. That's really odd. I split these ships, if I can remember how to split them. Oops. If I can remember how to split them, that button. Attach from the formation. Lord Nelson. Yeah, you can increase your speed, so what the hell are you on about? Increase your speed. Right, well, we want Lord Nelson in the front. Stop putting you in Division 2, you are Division... For goodness sake. Right. Attach. Order selected ship to join this division. So, selected ship. So you are following Lord Nelson at 18 knots. Yes, good. What a kerfuffle. What a faff. What an absolute faff that was. Right. Do 30 degrees of port. Yeah, they've updated. I like to do single ships against multiple ships, or I don't normally keep the ships in a division. I normally split them all up and send them all over the place. That's just the way I play. So So I wasn't expecting it to not go ahead. They have changed it since I started, and I don't always keep up with the change logs. Well, I do to a certain extent. I do with new ship designs and things like that. But really should look through the other stuff as well. Just don't always have the time. Casemate penetration. Mid-belt penetration again. We're now doing 29 knots, so we need to get some flooding in this. Ooh. Okay, what happened to you? I didn't think you were taking a hit. Well, I knew you were taking a hit, but I didn't think it was that bad. Why are you dropping the Are you dropping speed or are you increasing speed? What's going on with you? Dropping speed. Damage and stability, maybe? Oh no, you're still turning. Duh. Derp. Right. Statin. I'm sure statin is a thing, but I can't remember what statin is. Something or other. Although it is quite nice that this ship now has some fire on it. Not that it will spread because, you know, maximum bulkheads. I don't really want to accelerate time at the moment. I just want to keep it as it is, really. But I'm glad I definitely went with historically accurate 12-inch armour because, you know. Yeah, there's not really much to say about these two ships, to be honest. They were one was actually turned into a remote control ship and used in weapons testing. I believe that may have been the Lord Nelson, and then the Anson was used. Anson wasn't the Anson. The other vessel, the Agamemnon, sorry, was used as briefly as a trading ship and then scrapped in 1927. Neither of these ships did see combat, but it was mainly keeping the Goeben bottled up and shore bombardment against Turkish fortifications. So they did have a bit of a career, but they're more interesting than they're more the last. This is the last of an era, as it were. I think these were either some of the last or the very last that pre-dreadnoughts that were produced by England, unless it was for another nation. I know. I think they still produce pre-dreadnoughts for some third world nations, but even people like Brazil will soon turn into dreadnoughts, so full dreadnoughts, not pre-dreadnoughts. Miss, what's up? Down to 300 rounds of ammo. I think. No, I won't say that. That's the wrong way to think. Heavy shells obviously increase the chance of fire, increase the chance of detonation, with the same with lyddite explosives. So I was about to say that I should have sacrificed some of the secondaries for more ammo, but no, if you put more ammo on the ship, it's more likely to go bang. So no. Although, judging by that, I think we are finally beginning to intercept it. We are finally beginning to somewhat catch up. Now, why it's going back to 14.5 knots, I don't know. I've definitely ordered it to accelerate to 18. It's not taking flooding. It's taking minimal damage. I have enough engine power that I should be getting to 18 knots. And you should be catching up as well, but you're decreasing speed, if anything. I know you're in the turn, but still you should be accelerating by now. And of course the actual battlecruiser is now up to 7.6% accuracy, whereas we're still having to manoeuvre because we're slower. Again, they're trying to cross our T. Ping! Ricochet chance low, penetration chance 45. I am a little bit tempted to try and go with high explosive. Because I am actually getting hit, so I'm getting close to them. And this thing only has minimum bulkhead, so I might be able to burn it down. Yes, I'll burn it to the ground tonight. Doodly-doo-doodly-doo-doodly-doo. Oh god. Nickelback. Angsty teenager much. People even say angsty anymore. Partial penetration with high explosive. Let's fast forward time a little bit. See what happens with the high explosive rounds. Again, partial penetration, but that wouldn't have been a penetration anyway. Damage to main tower. You know, I am actually going to split these ships because... Detach and go to full speed because this is getting a bit ridiculous now. Yeah, as soon as I detach the fleet, they suddenly start accelerating. So why on earth it was trying to stop accelerating? I don't know. I don't play around with divisions that often. I normally split divisions up rather than leaving them in place. So I don't know why they... Because yeah, even in the turn, we're still accelerating now. We're still accelerating into the turn. So... But obviously losing all that speed has meant that we're not gaining on the ship as much as I'd hoped. Obviously this is quite bad, because it's basically going to cut in front of us. I will keep the Agamemnon on this kind of... You know what, no, Agamemnon can turn as well. Lord Nelson can continue its turn. No, you keep with whatever you choose to. Agamemnon, also whatever you choose to. Select the appropriate ammunition type. 4.7% versus 10%. Oh. One moment. Dogs are barking. Go on, get comfy then. Get comfy. I don't mind company, but why do they always show up when I record Ultimate Admirals? That's every single time I've recorded Ultimate Admirals. Someone has shown up at the door. God. Is the universe trying to tell me something or what? Unfortunately, no, if people don't, ask before they show up, you can't really control it. And it looks like the action happened while I was away. Oh joy. So, what is the report? Extended belt penetration. Ooh. Oh, okay, right. Ouch. Not only did they show up, they've brought their money as well. To worry. No matter, some people, no matter how many times they tell them, please call, please let us know, they just show up. Ah, well, it's not my decision. And those look good, but are they good? No, they're not. Right. 15 knots. You're 18.5. Yeah, you can take the front now. Yes. Ooh, you're now at 15% accuracy. What's the distance? What's the distance gone down to? 4.6. Okay. Wait. 4.6. Torpedo range 5.1. Okay. Change O plans. Harder starboard. Nope. Harder port. Sorry. Torpedoes aggressive. Let's have an aggressive launch. Unless the torpedo has been destroyed and have not been notified. Entirely possible, it does tend to do that. Aggressive launch of the torpedo, please. Please. Les, PLZ. Torpedo. 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 Fire. No, it's not going to do it. What? How annoying. Saying that, I don't think it needed to do it, actually. All that time acceleration and I wasn't paying attention. Yes. So it looks like she took a 9-inch hit, extended penetration, which caused flooding. And, of course, she has minimum bulkheads. Thus, this is what happens when you have minimum bulkheads. You numpty. Ah, the torpedo is away. Finally. Took you long enough. Right, turn in. 20 degrees to starboard. Well, actually, that's probably... 20 degrees would be there. That's probably harder starboard. Anson, you can continue on... No, Anson, continue on course. Nelson, you get out of the way. And SMS Star is not in a good place. Ah, this is what I get for looking away and ranting. All the action happens when I turn my head, because of course it does. Oh dear. Still, we can see some of the damage bubbles now. I do wonder, since all the damage is on this side, surely it should be, surely... Ooh. I was about to say, since all the damage is on this side of the ship, on the port side, surely it should be, rolling to port, unless they've, counter-flooded to starboard and failed in the counter-flooding, which they may possibly have had. Although... yeah. Anson! Anson, you can carry on as you are. Lord Nelson, also carry on as you are. Let's split our forces a little bit. Go to normal. High explosive. And deal with the problem, please. I do like how they launch lifeboats. I do like the lifeboats, so that we could use some little stick figures or something just popping about. Saying that, if you put stick figures or anything in there, it'll probably change the age rating of the game. So, I know some countries are funny about that kind of thing. But even if you put some sort of comedy stick figures in there, surely it would, surely it'll be fine. I know the lifeboats do despawn, so maybe if you put stick figures in there and the lifeboats despawn, it would upset some countries' rating system. It's like with things like Fallout, they don't really have you kill children or anything like that because of the age rating. Hello, one. What are you doing? On the bright side, I don't think the microphone can pick up the dog barking. Oh, yay, I have done well with my settings. Thank you, annoying neighbours who always drive past in the really annoying car with the music blaring. Bang. Yes, I think that was a bang. I do like puppy dogs. Just, you know, not while they're barking. Well, actually, I don't normally care that they're barking. It's just, you know, today's bothering me for some reason. Shouldn't be. I really hope that doesn't become another tick for my OCD. Well, it won't. No. Say. Despair. Still, Stettin is doing quite well, actually. Considering she's under the concentrated firepower of 2 battleships, she's definitely doing quite well. This is what happens when you have maximum bulkheads. She may die to fire, though. Just because so many... Doesn't matter if you have a bulkhead between 2 sections if both sections take a shell. Yes, so... Although I fear that the Anson may be coming into its torpedo range, so... let's go... port. Bring these rear guns into action, and let's hopefully deal with this ship before it torpedoes me. What's the 7% accuracy and 9.2 on the 9.1 inch guns? Done done. Yes, that was a terrible joke that I attempted to make. Oof. More heavy penetrations. I thought perhaps going with, well, Lyddite would be roughly historically accurate as I could get. And I thought it wouldn't be as bad as heavy penetrations, but you know, if the ship has no armour at all, it doesn't matter whether you've got what type of shell you've got. If you're shooting it, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Hard over. Emergency to starboard. Reverse engines. That was a mistake, that was a mistake, that was a mistake, that will... Oh dear. Oh no, I'm gonna get... That was my mismanagement. Okay, yeah, I mismanaged this situation. Torpedoes, aggressive. Let's launch back, shall we? Midships. Oof. No, that was about hit, so that's not too bad. Although I was about to fire a torpedo out the bow, where if the torpedo room is now flooded, it can't launch torpedoes. Still, this is what many bulkheads will do for you. Oh god, sorry about that. I tried to turn my head away, but yeah. Torpedo away. Now, will you last long enough to be killed by the torpedo? Quite possibly. Still, just... You really wouldn't want to be on a ship that looks like this, now would you? I'm sorry, but, you know, there are flames coming out of the deck. Ow, where's that torpedo? There it is. Will she evade? Quite possibly not, because of the amount of damage she's taken, so this may be a kill shot. Torpedo for torpedo. Hopefully I can demonstrate why torpedoes are quite good at this tier, although the sections are already damaged, so she can't flood in a section that's already flooded, but she is now flooding in the bow, so... Hansen... Actually, Hansen, reduce speed, turn, fire the other torpedo from your side. Stettin's at 10% flooding now. Although she is turning in, 5%. Have we got another torpedo away? I don't believe we have. We won't need it though. 2, 1. Ah dear. And that was that. So that was the Lord Nelson class battleships, Lord Nelson, and what was supposed to be the Agamemnon, but isn't the Hansen, versus the SMS Goeben and the SMS Breslau. I keep wanting to call it something else, but it is the Breslau. Not to worry. Not to worry. Oh, sorry. Anyway, now I will have to call it a day there. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give me a like. If you have any comments, or if you have any suggestions for battles that you actually want to see, do feel free to put them down in the comments below. Just let me know that everybody's still interested. The last time I did the series, I had quite a few people watching. So if you have any suggestions, people are interested, let me know. I will see what I can do. Can't guarantee that I'll accept the suggestion, but I'll see what I can do. Anyway, with that being said, my name has been TechnoBixD. You've been watching Ultimate Admiral's Dreadnoughts, and goodbye.